Welcome to another Alex Geometry Topic instructional video by Mr. Hardy. What we're going to do with this video is look at a word problem that involves either filling or emptying a cylinder. So in this particular case we have an oil tank that needs to be drained. So think of it as looking like a cylinder. I remember seeing these when I was a kid. Farmers might have them. So you have this kind of like cylinder and it has oil in it. Think of it as like being kind of like half full of oil. And maybe there's an opening here where, or a lid where oil gets put in. And then there's a spout somewhere. I think this is how they looked. A spout with some kind of valve, and you would turn it on. So what they want to do is, the tank is shaped like a cylinder, so it's 4 feet long, so it's 4 feet this way, okay, and the diameter, the distance across the circle right here, the face, is 1.6, the diameter. So if the diameter is equal to 1.6, then the radius is half of that. Radius is equal to 1.6 divided by 2, because the radius is just halfway from the center out. So that's going to be 0.8. Okay? So suppose oil is drained at this rate per minute. Okay, we'll come back to that question. If the tank was completely full, so they're saying it's completely full. Okay, it's completely full. Okay, so here's what we do. We use this formula to find the volume. The volume is basically how much it holds in cubic inches. In this case, I think feet, cubic feet. Okay, so we say that the volume is pi r squared. All that is that's just the area of the face. Sometimes we call that the base. And then we're going to multiply it times 4, which is the height. Okay, so what we do is we just plug in. We know that pi is 3.14, and r we found over here is 0.8 squared, and then we times 4. We'll think of this as the height. Okay, so I can just pull up the calculator to do that. Clear. 3.14 times 0.8 times 0.8, because we had to do it twice, it's squared, and then times 4. So we get 8.0384. 8.0384. So that's the volume. Okay, that's the volume of the total, how much it holds. And then basically what they're saying is that, you know, the amount, if you measured it in terms of cubic, like ice cubes or something, 2.5 pretty big ice cube, 2.5 feet cubed come out of the spout each minute. So how many minutes does it take to drain the whole thing? So what you would do is you would just take 8.0384 and divide it by 2.5. Okay, so 2 goes into 8 around 4 times. This is 2.5, so I think it's going to be around 3. Let's see. Okay, so I already have the number there, so I just say divided by 2.5. And I get 3.21 something. Now let's see. So let's see. Use the value pi and round your answer to the nearest minute. So if these were minutes, then it would just be 3. Okay, do not round intermediate computations. So what that meant was do all this at the same time here. Okay, so that's how you do that problem. Let's look at one that's a little bit different. That one was, the previous one was emptying. Now I think we're going to fill. An empty tank of a truck needs to be completely filled. So, you know, maybe you've seen these tankers. I'm not a very good driver, but it would be like there's a tanker, and then here's the top of the truck. Okay, so here's a wheel and here's a wheel, something like that. So we need to fill up the tank. So the tank has the shape of a cylinder. Once again, it's 4 feet long, 4 feet long, with a diameter of 1.4. So this time the diameter, I'm going to draw it over here. If the diameter all the way across is D is 1.4, then the radius is half of that, 1.4 divided by 2. So 14 divided by 2 is 7, so this would be 0.7. Okay, so we're going to use our formula again. Let's find the volume of this cylinder. It's going to be pi r squared. Again, that's the area of the circle, and then times h, the length. So we get 3.14 times 0.7 squared times 4 again. Okay, so it should be a little less. Let's see. 3.14 times 0.7 times 0.7 times 4 equals, so 6.1544. 6.1544. And notice that I put all those numbers in. I didn't do any rounding or anything. That's what that means. Do not round your intermediate computations. So I just did it all at once. Okay, now suppose that gas gets poured into the tank at 2.5 cubic feet. So it's not always going to be 2.5. These examples just have it that way.
Fremont. Alex Ullman, if you're on campus, can you please come to the office? Alex Ullman, please come to the office. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Okay, Alex, you're in my video you're now famous. Okay, so we're just going to divide that because we can put 2.5 cubic feet in in 1 minute, so we get 6.1544 divided by 2.5, and that equals 2.46 something. Okay, and they say round to the nearest minute. Well, it's kind of weird, but this is a 4, so it's not 5, so we would have to say 2. Okay, we would say 2 minutes. It's going to take 2 minutes, which I don't think is a very good estimate. I would say 2.5 minutes would be a better estimate. Would be the round to tenths, but that's not what they asked for. They said to the nearest minute, which is like a whole number. Okay, that's how you do these problems. Good luck.